number one, many times we think digital transformation is all about tech. Absolutely wrong. Number two, I feel we try to innovate first and then adopt next. It doesn't work. Because by the time we innovate, tweak, and build technology, then you put it to operation, say, please use this, it doesn't work. Number three, I think we have to have a focus on value. Whatever is value creation, what we do is we try to build technology and try to reverse fit to create value. It doesn't work. I think in my 2 cents, we have to start with the business, start with the spirit, and really bring the organization together with kind of like art of storytelling. Because I think somebody asked me, what is digital transformation? And my answer is very different. I think it's a spirit, it's a DNA that you have to focus on the art of possible versus art of impossible, because in large organizations, you always focus on why it does not work.
Yeah,
or will not work. Knowing the culture. Yeah. Measure. $1 improvement in operating income through innovation is much more important than shiny technology, no value.
The learning that I think we've all had at ServiceNow, and many of us in the industry have had, is people start with platforms or people start with products. And I think the difference that our founder, Fred, started with was build the platform, but have the product powering the platform, and always think about the universality of the platform. And so what we're seeing in CX and in EX right now is, in the last 90 days, the EX, employee experience story, has changed from one of employee experience to one of shared services and employee productivity. Because everyone's striving to get ready for some rough times ahead. They're like, let's start being more conservative. So we're going in and saying, if you've got already an investment in your HCM, the common pattern we're seeing is, why not connect that to your IT? Why not connect that to legal? Why not connect that to expense reporting, so that from one mobile app, the employee can have everything they need, not a hyperlink with a page with 60 different hyperlinks on it.
That's brutal.
It's really been fun for me because, in the CGO, I have, it's really been a focus around how do we build ecosystems. And so if I look at the big changes that I made since we last met, one was creating our ecosystems and partnership organization. And I've heard a lot of comments about, how do I work with all of these different vendors to bring solutions together. And so we invested heavily in our ecosystem. We renamed it, first of all. It was an alliance management. We eliminated that from our vocabulary because our clients are really looking for us to help them integrate the ecosystem in a way that really delivers outcomes and solutions for them. And it can be really challenging. I mean, there's so many choices, so many partners out there. And so how do we help bring that together? So that's been a huge change. And then, we're digitizing our own sales organization. So
what does that mean?
I know, well, we're figuring it out, but it's really exciting because I think so much of, again, our clients want different things from us, and how they engage with us is completely different. We don't walk the halls anymore. So we do, but we do it also in a very hybrid way. So we're trying to figure out, how do we automate as much of our own process, build AI into our system so we can serve up content to our clients and also to our sales teams. So that's going to be a fun project that we're undertaking this year.
How do you know what customers want?
You got to listen.
Yeah.
You got to walk.
Listen.
You spend time with them. You eat your own cooking. You get to the front lines. You talk to them, whether it's, I don't care what your customer is. I mean, even if it's internal IT, eating your own cooking.
But I have 80 million customers.
Well, you can get a sample size.
Okay.
I mean, break them down into personas, get out there, sit with them, listen, watch them, do ride-alongs. And I'm not talking about the token 1 hour, hey, shake hands, kiss babies kind of stuff. I'm talking about digging in deep. And then that's got to be more than a one-time event. It's actually got to be something that's sustainable and that you're building that relationship so you have a constant input of customer feedback.
66% growth in the number of developers moving over from Web 2 to Web 3. Very significant. Number of wallet growth month over month is 8% month over month. That's about 1 million new wallets created every month. If I just look at my own business, Unstoppable, where we created digital identity, we're seeing partnerships grow at a 10x pace. 10x. So I believe that the space will continue to have builders that will build during the bear market. And I really see a lot of utility like Hunter's seeing today. A lot of strong use cases in customer experience that we heard about today. A lot of great use cases around data, how you protect your data, how you make sure that data is yours, no one else is selling it. And these use cases, I think, are going to be the core. It's not going to be about the technology, but it's going to be about this utility and these use cases that are going to be disruptive to drive the future.
This postmodern era that we're in, I think, how I would describe the best CFOs that we work with 1,300 companies in all different parts of the economy. They are what I would call technological storytellers, right? And that sounds weird to people because, right, when you're a CFO, do you want to tell stories? Yeah, the businesses are very, very complex today, and your ability to understand what's happening in your business and convey that to your stakeholders, to your board, to your investors in a way that animates the market and animates support for your business, that is the job of the CFO today, more so than ever. and increasingly, their technology people. We're in a fog right now, and CFO job is extremely difficult. The CEO job is tough most of the time, but right now they're leaning on the CFO saying, how on earth are we, where are we going? What's going to happen? So the answer really that we see, and companies are investing in technology to do this, they're creating resilience. What's going on, Ray, in the business is you used to be about reporting. What's the variance versus the plan and all that, and that's really complex. But increasingly, there's a realization that the business is driven by different metrics, right? If you go out into a software company, it's all about your leads. It's about the conversion from MQLs to SQLs. This is not financial data. This is operational data. It turns into commercial data. That commercial data then ultimately turns into financial data. So CFOs are realizing this and they're saying, look, if we're going to be resilient, we need to course correct quicker. So we need to know what are the drivers in the business and model that and have responsive capabilities to look at that very quickly.
But yeah, for a lot of people, we survey 10 million people a year. We survey 200,000 people every single week, ask them 60 questions in 140 countries. So we get this data across all industries around what's going on. Yeah, so we look at a lot of things. What we know is the future of work is not hybrid. The future of work is not quiet quitting. It's not the slogans. We won't be talking about any of those things a year from now. And it will be on to talking about other things a year from now. So, and in terms of what people want, it doesn't matter if you're in Bogota, Colombia, or if you're in Half Moon Bay, you want to be respected by the person that you work for. You want to be communicated with in an honest way by the person that you work for. You want to be treated in a fair and equitable way, and that's the most important of all. If people feel like you're treating some people one way and you're treating a group of people another way, trust just plummets. The other thing is you want to enjoy the people that you work with. Yeah. You don't want to have 5 shots of Red Bull to join your team, Zoom or WebEx or Microsoft Teams. And people, in terms of enjoying who they work with, that's a reflection on management. Yeah. Employees think you're the one who is hiring these people, and what are you doing if they don't have the same kind of values and level of commitment? And people want to be part of a team. So those are 6 things that build up trust. Without trust, there is no engagement, satisfaction. It's on the stage. Trust has been underneath a lot of topics because it's critically important.
So we figured out how to make the front of any computer interactive and how to make the back of it immersive glass. This is just a PowerPoint slide that I'm showing you right now. And if I raise up my hands, what I designed there on PowerPoint can come to life. So any camera and any screen, the front of it, we're able to turn this entire front of the camera into interactive air, and the back of it, we're able to place things there. Obviously, you can see my video placed behind there. Now, this is 2D content. When you run this thing on 3D, it is absolutely magic.
There's a lot of focus on digital, right? How do you enable chat? How do you enable self-service? How do you enable the app or the mobile phone? But, people are not putting as much emphasis on voice, and I think that is actually a little bit of a mistake, because especially when it comes to high-end brands as well, I want someone to speak to. I want a human to have an interaction with. I want someone to give me empathy. I want someone to understand that I'm annoyed at this present moment.
Fix it now.
Fix it now. Yeah. And sometimes it's not enough that I have to wait for the little dots to come back. Like, the dots are just too much. It's too much.
The dots.
Our customers are looking at how they make it persistent, right? Yes. I think that's a really, personalized is great, but persistent is intelligent, right? And Ray talked about it earlier. I think the beauty of, we talk a lot with our customers about collaborative intelligence, using the beauty of human intelligence and machine intelligence together to create persistent customer experience that can be predictive, right? And you think about this when you think about data, right? You talk about prescriptive analytics, then you talk about predictive analytics. I think predictive CX and persistent CX is where it's going.
Yeah. What does that prove to the market about somebody who's willing to go out there and be frankly off the beaten path enough, be disruptive enough, be different enough, be unabashed enough, be unembarrassed? You know what the word embarrassed means? You know the root of the word embarrassment means literally to bar yourself in? Caring what other people think is a prison. It's in the word embarrassed.
So what most people call a dialogue is actually called waiting to talk. Thinking is the application of a framework or a lens. There's reflexive and reflective. And reflexive is when the doctor does that to you. You have a reflex. That's not thinking. That's called having a reflex. Thinking is reflective. And what's going on today as it relates to dialogue is we're not interested in anything other than spewing our reflexive, already existing opinion at one another. And when you play that out, you have what's happening in America today, which is we will either have civil dialogue or we will have civil war.
Where people are, right? In what channels people are spending their eyeballs. User acquisition still continues to be, right? How long? Our attention spans are so little because there is so much choice and so much content. At this point, and information is flying. So you are meeting people where they are. Can you get them to take an action while you have their attention span of 5 minutes these days? Can you get them to take? And I don't think we've gotten there yet.
That's why our panels are 20 minutes.
The Expedias of the world were struggling. Then the pandemic, everybody became a technology company because of the pandemic. It accelerated, e-commerce, at least 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it is. And since then, if you take a look at the quarter over quarter, you'll start to see that since the pandemic, that all of a sudden you start to see a shift where everybody's returning back to the stores. And you start to see that the experiential companies that were poor performing prior to the pandemic are now overperforming or performing really well. And you'll see that a lot of the traditional retailers are struggling now, especially those that have brick and mortar stores, unless you're hot little, companies that have a fast growth. So we've seen a definite shift from share of wallet is what you used to go after before the pandemic, and now, of course, it's a share of experience.